Ok, parfait.
Welcome to the Sikio Sikivu Podcast with Rumishael Ulomi, a place where you get a chance to grow and strengthen your faith while impacting the world, talking faith, life and work, business, leadership and theology, sharing experts, building smart relationships and serving God's kingdom. Welcome and get ready.
Ooh, listen closely now.
Every voice holds a world, a quiet universe unfolding, a sacred space where truths are heard and stories find their home. This is Sikio Sikivu.
Sikio Sikivu.
Let the journey of profound listening begin.
Hi, welcome to another episode of the Sikio Sikivu Podcast. I'm your host, Rumishael Ulomi. Thank you very much for joining me. You know, if I ask you to describe the color blue to someone who has been blind since birth, you'll probably struggle. You reach for metaphors such as the coolest of the water, the sound of the distant flute, or the feeling of a crispy morning breeze. You know those things aren't literally the color blue, but they are the only bridges we can use to span that impossible gap. Our attempts to talk about God are much the same. We use words like God's mighty hand or His watchful eyes. But does the creator of the entire cosmos, the one who spoke galaxies to be, truly have thumb or a retina? I don't know. Today we are diving into a mind-bending mystery. We are moving from the pit of limited understanding to the palace of divine wonders as we explore two massive truths. God is immanent and God is transcendent. It's very tempting to take everything in scripture at face value. Anthropomorphic language, that's just a fancy theological word for giving God human trait. It's comforting. It makes an invisible reality feel familiar. But friends, when we read these descriptions as literary reportage, we run into trouble. We reduce mystery to mechanics. Take Exodus 15:6 for example. Your right hand, O Lord, is glorious in power. If we spend our time arguing over whether God has a physical limb, we miss the victory. The point isn't anatomy, the point is God's active saving strength in your life. We have to ask, what is this image trying to teach me about the relationship with the Creator? Let's talk about immanence. This is a beautiful truth that God is with us. He isn't the landlord who owns the buildings but lives in another country. He is present in the world. The psalmist captured this perfectly in Psalms 139, verse 7 to 8. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. Think about the parable of the Prodigal Son. When that father saw his son from a distance and ran to meet him, that is the ultimate image of immanence. It tells us that God is willing to close the gap. He is accessible in your prayers, in your conscience, and in your community. He is the shepherd from Psalms 23 who doesn't just watch from the hilltop but walks beside you in the dark valleys. But, and this is a big but, we must balance that nearness with transcendence. Transcendence is God's otherness. God is not just a bigger, better version of you and me. He is completely different. In Isaiah 55 verse 8 to 9, God says, For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than yours. Think about Job. When Job was suffering and demanded answers, God didn't give him a 10 PowerPoint presentation of why bad things happen. Instead, He spoke out of a whirlwind. He pointed to the stars and the foundations of the earth. He reminded Job that the Creator's perspective is infinite beyond our logic. Transcendence keeps us humble. It stops us from trying to domesticate God or turn Him into a projection of our own desires. So, how do we live in this tension? How do we worship a God who is closer than our breath, yet further than the stars? We see it perfectly in the Incarnation. Jesus is Emmanuel, God with us. That's immanence, yet He is also the Word, through whom the entire universe was structured. That's transcendent. In your daily life, this changes everything. In your work, if God is immanent, then your excellency in the marketplace is a form of worship. As Matthew 25:40 says, what you do for the least of this in your business or community, you do for Him. In your prayers, you can talk to Him like a friend, but you must also fall silent in awe of His majesty. As we wrap up today's episode of the Sikio Sikivu Diary, remember the words of the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror, then we shall see face to face. Don't be afraid of the mystery. Embrace the paradox. God is near enough to hear your whisper and great enough to hold your future. Thank you for listening to the Sikio Sikivu Podcast. If this message blesses you, please share it with a friend who needs to be reminded of God's presence and power today. You can find more resources at www.sikiosikivu.com. Until next time, keep an attentive ear to the Spirit. I'm Rumishael Ulomi. Baraka za Bwana ziwe nanyi. The Lord's blessing be with you. Until then, be blessed.
Thank you for listening and supporting the Sikio Sikivu with Rumishael. For more of such inspiring messages, stories, and news, visit www.sikiosikivu.com. Tuning your frequency toward God's kingdom. Be inspired, be motivated, be transformed.